On my 60th birthday, the house was hollow with silence. No cards on the table. No cheerful voices. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the scrape of my knife against the cake's frosting. I smoothed the vanilla buttercream in careful strokes. Pretending the act meant something. Pretending anyone cared. Robert's voice cut through the quiet from the living room. "Could you hurry up? You're making too much noise." I didn't answer. What was there to say? 35 years of marriage. And this was what it had become. A man who couldn't even muster a half-hearted happy birthday before complaining about the sound of a spatula. The front door opened. And Daniel walked in, his eyes flicking to the cake with disinterest. "All this fuss for a birthday at your age." He dropped into a chair, already scrolling through his phone. "Just cut it already." My fingers tightened around the knife. Not a word of thanks. Not a glance of acknowledgement. Just impatience, as if my existence was an inconvenience. I set the cake down between them. They didn't wait for me to sit. Robert dug in first, shoveling a thick slice onto his plate. Daniel followed, barely pausing his scrolling as he took a bite. I stood there, watching them eat, watching them ignore me. The cake disappeared in minutes. When the plate was empty, I whispered, "Was it too much to save me a piece?" Daniel laughed. "Come on, Mom, you made it. You know how it tastes." Something inside me, something long buried, finally snapped. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't slam my hands on the table. The words just slipped out, quiet and steady. "Want a divorce?" Robert's fork clattered against his plate. For a second, his face went slack. Then he snorted, shaking his head like I'd told a bad joke. "Divorce? You're 60, Helen, no job, no savings. Where do you think you're going?" Daniel didn't even look up from his phone.
"Yeah, Mom."
"Be realistic." His thumb kept scrolling. "What's Emily's family gonna say when they hear you're causing drama?" Emily. His fiancée. The daughter-in-law they actually gave a damn about. I looked at the crumbs on the table. The smears of frosting. 35 years of birthdays forgotten, anniversaries ignored, Christmases spent alone in the kitchen while they opened gifts without me. "I'll manage," I said. Robert's chair screeched as he stood. His face twisted, red and ugly. "Fine. Leave. But don't expect a cent, you're nothing without me." Daniel finally put his phone down. Not to look at me, but to smirk at his father. Like this was entertaining. I walked upstairs, my legs steady for the first time in years. Packed a single suitcase. Clothes, my grandmother's pearl earrings. The emergency cash I'd been tucking away in a tampon box since Daniel turned 18. When I came back down, they were in the living room. The TV blaring some sports game. Neither glanced my way as I opened the front door. The night air hit my face. I pulled out my phone and called the only person who wouldn't laugh at me. Liz answered on the second ring. "Helen." I didn't have to say anything, she knew. "Come here," she said. Liz's apartment smelled like lavender and stale coffee. The moment she opened the door, my knees buckled. She caught me before I hit the ground, arms tight around my shoulders as I shook with silent sobs. "Bastards," she muttered into my hair. "Absolute bastards." She sat me on her couch, shoved a glass of whiskey into my hand, and didn't ask stupid questions. The amber liquid burned going down, but it steadied me. "You know he's hidden money," Liz said suddenly. She was pacing, her slippers slapping against the hardwood. "Men like Robert always do." I stared into my glass. Of course he had. The vacations he took without me. The business trips where he'd come home smelling like perfume that wasn't mine. Liz's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, jaw tightening. Michael Sloyer again. Her fingers trembled slightly as she silenced it. Trying to screw me out of the gallery. I'd almost forgotten. While I was playing dutiful wife, Liz had been fighting her own war. Her husband's mistress was a 26-year-old art student, and he'd somehow convinced half their friends it was Liz's fault. We sat in silence for a long moment, two broken women in a dim apartment. Then Liz suddenly stood, knocking over her wine. "Fuck this," she said. "We're getting a lawyer, tomorrow." I opened my mouth to protest. The cost, the hopelessness. But she cut me off. "Helen, look at me. Do you want to die as Robert's doormat?" The answer came faster than I expected. "No." "Good," She grabbed my hands, her grip fierce. Because I refuse to bury you before you've ever really lived. Outside, a siren wailed. Somewhere in the city, another emergency was happening. For the first time in decades, I felt like I mattered enough to call for help too. The lawyer's office smelled like leather and expensive cologne. Liz sat beside me, her knee bouncing, while Ms. Alvarez flipped through Robert's financial records with the focus of a predator. She said suddenly, tapping a page, 250 Zalos in a private account opened last year. Did you know about this? The number blurred before my eyes. That was more than Robert claimed to make in 5 years. Liz let out a low whistle. Told you. Miss Alvarez leaned forward. Helen, this changes everything. We can go after half. I thought of the years I'd spent clipping coupons. The way Robert would sigh dramatically if I needed new shoes. All while he sat on $250,000. Do it, I said. The courthouse was all echoing footsteps and 2 bright lights. Robert showed up in his best suit, face purple when he saw me sitting beside Liz instead of cowering in some shelter. This is ridiculous. He hissed as we waited. You'll get nothing. Daniel lurked behind him, shooting me looks of pure betrayal. When the judge awarded me 65 Zalazid, his whisper carried across the room. She's stealing from us, Dad. Robert's fist clenched around the check he was forced to write right there. But it was Daniel who cornered me outside, his breath hot and sour with rage. Amelie's parents are furious. He spat. Do you know how embarrassing this is for me? I studied my son. The perfect arch of his eyebrows, the expensive watch I'd scrimped to buy him last Christmas. Good, I said, and walked away. Liz whooped when she saw the check. First round of drinks is on your bastard ex-husband. But as we clinked glasses that night, her smile faltered. Michael's selling the gallery, she admitted. I have 30 days to clear out. The whiskey turned bitter in my mouth. Then an idea struck. What if we left? I said. Not just from here, from everything. Liz's eyes lit up. Keep talking. The camper van was a rusted piece of shit with a leaking roof, and a smell like wet dog. Liz slapped the hood proudly. Freedom on wheels, darling. I eyed the duct tape taillight. We were going to die in this thing. She tossed me the keys. Better than dying in Robert's shadow. We painted it sunflower yellow the next day, our hair streaked with paint, laughing like teenagers. Liz filmed the whole thing on her phone. Me pretending to choke on fumes, her mock-serious review of our artistic process. When she posted it online that night, neither of us expected the flood of comments. These ladies are my heroes! Where are you going first? Liz stared at the screen. Helen, we might be onto something. By the time we hit the road, we had 10,000 followers. People loved 2 middle-aged women giving 0 fucks. Our first video, me learning to light a campfire while Liz dramatically narrated my failures, went viral. Sponsorship offers trickled in. Meanwhile, Robert called daily. First with threats, then with wheedling. Daniel's wedding is coming up, he said during one voicemail. Don't embarrass him further. I deleted it. The desert was our first real test. The van overheated outside Joshua Tree, leaving us stranded at sunset. Instead of panicking, Liz set up her tripod. Alright, disaster vlog time. As I tinkered with the engine badly, she narrated our plight with the gravitas of a war correspondent. That video got 500,000 views. The ad revenue paid for a real mechanic. One night, under a sky smeared with stars, Liz turned to me. Who are you now? The question lingered. I wasn't T. Robert's wife, barely Daniel's mother. Elanor, I said suddenly. Liz grinned, like the Tolkien character, badass. No, I laughed like, new. The next morning, I changed all my social media handles. When Robert's call came through, I blocked him mid-ring. The road stretched endlessly ahead. For the first time, that didn't terrify me. The Pacific Coast Highway whipped past us, salt air blasting through the van's open windows. Liz whooped as she steered with one hand, filming our hair whipping like wild banners with the other. Day 27 of being unfucking stoppable, she shouted into the camera. Helen, sorry, Elanor, has officially leveled up to a licensed driver of this death trap. I flipped her off, laughing. The wind stole the sound from my lips. It didn't matter. The camera caught it all. Our followers, now pushing 200K, ate it up, Sponsorships for camping gear, ethical sunscreen, even a tiny coffee brand run by queer anarchists in Portland. The money wasn't life-changing, but it was ours. No begging, no conditions. Then Daniel found the account. His DM popped up while we were parked at a cliffside overlook. Mom, ridiff is this? Attached was a screenshot of our most popular video. The one where I toasted Robert with cheap champagne, saying this divorce tastes better than any birthday cake. Liz read it over my shoulder. Block him. My finger hovered. Then another message appeared. Emily's family saw this. They think you're unstable. Something cold settled in my chest. I typed back good. His reply was instant. You're ruining my life. The irony almost choked me. 30 years of bending myself into a pretzel for him, and I was the one ruining things. Liz plucked the phone from my hands. Nope. We're doing a live stream instead. She hit record before I could protest. Hey shitlords. Quick life update. She slung an arm around me. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Today's agenda: whale watching and radical self-love. Drop your toxic stories in the comments. The notifications exploded. Stories poured in. Women leaving abusive husbands. Kids cutting off narcissistic parents. A community of survivors, rallying behind two middle-aged women in a yellow van. That night, as waves crashed below our cliffside camp, I realized something. I wasn't just free. I was dangerous. The hospital call came at 3:17 a.m. Liz's phone buzzed violently across the van's counter. She fumbled for it, squinting at the screen. Unknown caller. I knew. Even before she put it on speaker. Even before the nurse said, Mazar, Whittaker listed you as emergency contact. In that tone professionals use when they're too tired to pretend. Robert had collapsed. Heart attack. Liz's eyes locked onto mine. The van suddenly felt airless. Is he conscious? I asked. A pause. No. I could hear Daniel's voice shouting in the background. The nurse lowered her voice. Ma'am, your son is quite agitated. He's asking about power of attorney. I'll call back. I hung up. The silence was thick. Liz exhaled slowly. What do you need? I stared at my hands, still rough from fixing the van's generator yesterday. A grease stain stubborn under one nail. These weren't the hands of a woman who waited in hospital corridors anymore. Nothing, I said. We drank terrible gas station coffee as the sun rose. Liz didn't push, just let me stare at the desert horizon until the words finally came. He'd want me there, I said. Not because he loves me, because he'd want to wake up and see me suffering. Liz snorted. Classic Robert. My phone lit up. Daniel, again. I silenced it. By noon, the hospital had called 3 more times. The last nurse sounded exasperated. Your son is demanding. Tell Daniel. I interrupted. That his father should have been kinder to the person who memorized his allergies and blood type. I blocked the number. Liz raised her coffee cup in salute. That night, we filmed our most viewed video yet, how to make campfire brownies while your ex-husband's life hangs in the balance, as asthma crunchy sounds. The comment section became a war zone. How could you be so heartless? Clashed with queen shit, and my mom stayed for 40 years and died miserable. You go. I didn't read them, just packed up the van as Liz checked the oil. The road was calling. Robert woke up 2 days later. Alone. We were already in another state. The postcard arrived at a roadside PO box in New Mexico. Robert's shaky handwriting glaring up at me like an accusation. Helen, not Elanor. Never that. And doctors say I need rest. Daniel's overwhelmed. You owe us. Liz held it up to the sunlight like a forensic analyst. No return address. Coward. She flicked it into the campfire. We watched Robert's guilt trip curl into ash. Daniel found other ways. Comments started appearing under our videos. My mom abandoned my sick dad from newly created accounts. Our DMs filled with screenshots of Emily's wedding Pinterest board. See what you're missing. Liz wanted to expose him live on stream. I opted for quieter revenge. The next video opened with me smiling sweetly at the camera. Special request today. Many of you asked how I stayed married for 35 years. I held up a blender. The secret. Tossed in a raw egg, vodka, a handful of ashes from the campfire. Swallowing your pride daily! The concoction exploded when I hit puree. Liz screamed theatrically off camera. The clip went viral as a meme. When she's done with your bullshit. But the real knife twist came later. Buried in a Q&A video, when someone asked about regrets. Not leaving sooner. I said casually, sanding a dent in the van's bumper. Funny how men become helpless when you stop playing maid. The camera caught my smirk. Pro tip, ladies, they always know where the laundry hamper is. They just prefer your bending. The hashtag Fev bending challenge exploded. Women filmed themselves. Accidentally. Throwing their partner's clothes on the floor. Passive-aggressively folding single socks. Liz monetized it with merch. Hoodies that read "I'm not your fucking maid" in delicate script. Robert's final message came through his lawyer: cease and desist defamatory content. We celebrated with a sponsored livestream. Defiant divorce a gay makeover? Where I dyed my gray streaks purple to the sound of Liz reading legal threats in a sultry voice. That night, as fireworks burst over a Texas RV park, Liz handed me an envelope. French visa paperwork. Time to escalate, she said. The road ahead smelled like gasoline and possibility. Somewhere behind us, a hospital bed sat empty. I didn't look back. The Parisian cafe table wobbled as Liz slammed down 2 espresso shots. To burning bridges, she declared, and pissing on the ashes. I clinked my cup against hers. The bitter tang matched my mood perfectly. Robert's lawyers had escalated, now claiming our videos constituted elder abuse given his fragile health. The irony wasn't lost on our followers. Fragile like a nuclear bomb. Liz had captioned our response video, zooming in on the legal letter, while I ate a croissant with deliberate, mocking elegance. Daniel had taken to Twitter. Some people chase clout instead of doing what's right, he posted, accompanied by a decades-old photo of me holding him as a baby. The comments tore him apart. That's your mom. The one your dad financially abused. Funny how men remember family when they need something. Liz's phone buzzed with a new sponsorship offer. Skincare brand wants you to review their eye cream while roasting Robert's lawyer's font choice. I was mid-laugh when my own phone rang. Unknown French number, Mrs. Whittaker, a woman's accented voice. This is your pedal American. Your son. My knuckles whitened around the phone. Daniel had been in a car accident. Emily was fine. He wasn't. Liz's hand found mine as the doctor listed injuries. Broken ribs, collapsed lung. The classic result of a drunk driver T-boning an Uber. They said. He kept asking for you, the nurse added. The cafe sounds faded. I saw toddler Daniel chasing seagulls on Coney Island, the way he declutched my pinky after nightmares. The man who called me unstable was still the baby I rocked through fevers. Liz squeezed harder. We can be on the next flight. I closed my eyes, saw Robert's smirk when the judge ordered the divorce settlement. Daniel's eye roll as he told the court I'd always been dramatic. No, I said. The word hung between us. Liz didn't protest. Just paid the bill and steered me toward the Seine. As twilight painted the river gold, I sent one email, medical proxy forms attached. He has a father. The reply came at dawn: he's asking for you. I deleted it. Some fires need to burn out on their own. The lavender fields of Provence were in full bloom when the final email arrived. Robert was dead. No dramatic collapse, no last-minute reconciliation. Just a terse message from some junior law associate about probate court dates. Apparently, Daniel had been removed as executor due to financial mismanagement. The irony tasted better than the wine we'd been drinking. Liz handed me her phone. A news article about Robert's will being contested by 3 different women claiming paternity. Looks like you weren't the only one he screwed over, she said. I expected to feel something, vindication, grief. Instead, I felt nothing but the sun on my face and the weight of my camera in my hands. We filmed that day's video surrounded by purple haze. Me reading excerpts from Robert's will in a terrible British accent, while Liz pantomimed the various women fighting over his golf clubs. The comment section exploded with support. Karma's a bitch, and so are you,'s affectionate. My mom died taking care of my dad. This is the ending she deserved. Daniel tried one last time. A voicemail left at 3 a.m., his voice slurry with pills or alcohol. You were supposed to be the better person. I played it for Liz over breakfast. She didn't look up from croissant. Funny how better person always means doormat in their language. That afternoon, we drove to the coast. The Mediterranean glittered like shattered glass as I composed my final response. Not to Daniel, but to our followers. The camera rolled. Someone recently told me I was supposed to be the better person, I said, adjusting my sunglasses. Turns out, I'd rather be happy. Liz whooped off camera, tossing Robert's obituary into the sea breeze. The paper fluttered like a wounded bird before vanishing into the waves. We didn't check the view count. Didn't read the comments. Just opened another bottle of wine as the sun dipped below the horizon. Somewhere in New York, a grave went unvisited. Somewhere in France, a woman who used to be Helen finally exhaled. The camper van's engine gave out near Biarritz on a Tuesday. Smoke poured from the hood as we rolled to a stop overlooking the Atlantic. Liz kicked the tire. Well, fuck. I laughed until tears streamed down my face. This rusted death trap had carried us across 2 continents, outlived my marriage, and chosen now, of all moments, to die. We posted the obituary video right there at the breakdown site. Rip Yellow Bitch, 2019-2023. She was ugly but free. The GoFundMe for a replacement hit its goal in 4 hours. That's when Daniel's final letter arrived, forwarded from our PO box. Not a plea, not an insult. Just a wedding invitation. Emily's elegant script below his name. We'd love for you to come. Liz held it up to the sunset, squinting. Bold move. I traced the embossed edges. The old Helen would be agonized over this. Would have bought a new dress. Rehearsed apologies in motel mirrors. The woman I was now. She crumpled it into a ball and tossed it to the wind. We toasted with boxed wine as the tow truck arrived. The driver asked where we were headed. Anywhere, Liz said. Nowhere, I said at the same time. The replacement van was bright red. We named her Phoenix. That night, as waves crashed below our cliffside camp, Liz turned to me. Regrets. I thought of Robert's unvisited grave. Daniel's unanswered calls. The birthday cake I'd once frosted alone. Not one. The fire crackled between us. Somewhere, our phones buzzed with notifications. New followers, new sponsorships, new lives waiting to be lived. We didn't check them. The road ahead was dark and endless, and ours